Welcome to Throwback Thursday, where we bring you a homeopathy hangout episode from our archives in case you missed it first time round. Because this episode may be a couple years old by the time you hear it as a throwback, some of the special offers, links, or content may not be valid anymore, so please keep this in mind when listening. You're always welcome to reach out to us at info@eugeniekruger.com. Enjoy the episode. Today we speak with Dr. Varsha Khurana in India. Dr. Varsha bravely shares with us her own experience with miscarriage and how homeopathy was able to help. She now specializes in infertility cases, and in this episode, she shares some useful remedies as well as case studies to bring hope to those listeners who might be going through an infertility diagnosis at the moment and may feel like giving up hope. You can book a consultation with Dr. Varsha or find out more about her work at homeopathynet.com. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Homeopathy Hangout, where we discuss all things homeopathy from around the world. And now my mum and your host, Eugenie Kruger.
Hello, homies, and a very warm welcome to Homeopathy Hangout. Today, we are speaking with Dr. Varsha Khurana, all the way from India. Welcome, Dr. Varsha.
Thank you so much, Eugenie, for having me. Thank you.
It's lovely to have you on. And I know you say people call you V, but I think you've got such a beautiful name, so I'm going to attempt to pronounce it. So tell us, Varsha, how did you first get introduced to homeopathy?
Okay, I got introduced. I've spoken about it at another place as well, I think. I got introduced to homeopathy through my grandfather because he was a patient of rheumatoid arthritis and he was suffering quite badly. And the only relief that he got was from working with a homeopath. I'm talking about 80 years back.
Wow.
He got it early on in his life. He's no more now. So I was really young and he got his relief from homeopathy. And he used to spend like 1/3 of his salary on that homeopath. He wanted one of his grandkids to get into homeopathy somehow. And I turned out to be that grandkid.
Oh, I'm sure he is with you in spirit every single day and smiling down on you.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Now, Varsha, you have a special interest in infertility and how homeopathy can help with this, which is amazing because it's definitely something that just seems to be all around us these days. Why do you have this interest in infertility and how can homeopathy help?
Right. So I have worked with an IVF clinic initially as an adjuvant to my practice. And I saw the inside out of that system, how that works, IVF and surrogacy. I was the surrogacy head at one of the hospitals. And there are so many, ups and downs there that I felt that homeopathy must be thought about, as a viable option for infertility. Mm-hmm. And that grew much more for me when personally I suffered a miscarriage. When I conceived for the first time, I suffered a miscarriage in the early months of my pregnancy. And when I conceived again, I used to work with my mentor at that time, Dr. Verma. He was really old and I, just took training from him, some practical training from him for 2 to 3 years initially. So he told me that whenever you conceive now, just come to me and do not do anything else. I was like, okay, great. So I did that and I was amazed that homeopathy, being a homeopath also, I was amazed that how homeopathy just helped me with my tendency to miscarriage, because the gynecologists had pretty much nothing to offer at that time. They were giving me hormones and I had already done that once and I was still miscarrying. So homeopathy came to the rescue and I had a healthy, beautiful boy. And I think that also pushed me more towards infertility and homeopathy.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. What was it like for you working in those infertility clinics? And I mean, the thought of surrogacy, it's incredible that somebody would actually do that for another person. I just think that's amazing. What was that like for you working there?
It was really it was early on in my practice, as I said, and I was very young and it was a very eye-opening kind of an experience because I would say there was a time when I thought that these women are probably not getting their due, and also the intended couples, the intended parents who are undergoing surrogacy, the rules, the law around it also was not that strong in place. At least I can speak for, Delhi, India. I'm not sure how that works and how strict the laws are. But I just felt they needed another option. Also, so many intended parents who wanted to, have a child through IVF could not afford it. So that was also one driving factor that, the procedure itself, even in India, is extremely expensive. Forget about the US. US is probably 10 times more if you compare the modalities. It's extremely expensive. And a lot of parents really cannot afford it. So I don't know. I just always felt that they deserved another option. And just that they are not aware also that they do have an option in alternative medicine. So to speak, alternative medicine, but homeopathy does offer an option. And that is what made me really passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. So how do you feel homeopathy can help people with infertility? What sort of things might you explore in a consult, and what might that look like, and how might you be able to help them?
Okay, so I think every homeopath has a different way of approaching their cases because, there are so many ways one can practice homeopathy. For me, in my own exploration until now, I have been driven by the mind section of the repertory. I go by the mind of the person, by the personality of the person, in addition to the physical symptoms or the pathology that is attached to a particular diagnosis. So that is how I practice. So if I try to study how is this condition affecting this person on the mental plane, that is my area of exploration, and that's where I try to understand the patient I'm treating, because homeopathy is something that treats the person, right? Not the disease. We all have heard that too many times now. So means that I need to understand my patient at a different level, at a mental level, at the personality level. What kind of circumstances does this person have, and what kind of emotional state is this person currently experiencing with this diagnosis, right? And then obviously considering if there is any pathology attached, on the reports, etc., that are presented to me.
And that's the beautiful thing, because being a homeopath in India, obviously you have all that medical training as well. So you are actually able to get all the reports and use that in your case taking as well, which is incredible.
Yes, I usually ask my patients to just forward the reports to me beforehand, and then I go into a consultation with them.
That's amazing. And would you see the man and the woman, or do you just treat the woman, or how does it work?
No, so it can be the sterility can be at the level of, the male part of the relationship as well. So why not? I treat both men and women.
That's beautiful. And what sort of success rate do you have with infertility and homeopathy?
Okay, so we're not very social media oriented 10 years back. It was, not something that was on my mind, and I didn't really bother to create a statistic there. But a minimum, I can say 60 to 70% is something I can say that kind of a success rate can be expected.
That's amazing. It's certainly higher than IVF, that's for sure.
Yes, it is.
And safer and cheaper.
Yes, I already said that. It's extremely safe. I think it's much less torturous, and it's amazing the kind of procedures that the women and men have to go through before they actually go for the ET, the embryo transfer, during an IVF, etc., etc. And surrogacy comes with its own emotional downfalls and upfalls. So I just feel it's much simpler, and at least everybody needs to have an option.
Absolutely. And Varsha, what sort of remedies would you typically use? I mean, it's obviously a very tricky question to ask, but are there just some basic remedies that you can maybe tell our listeners about that you have found helpful? And obviously this is not for them to self-prescribe at home, but just to give them an idea of what type of remedies they might receive during a consultation.
Sure. I can talk about some remedies that, every homeopath will think of when we are dealing with an infertility case. But so let me start with a very common remedy that you might have heard about, aurum metallicum, aurum group of remedies, and aurum metallicum. So this remedy is, it comes indicated mainly when the diagnosis of infertility, not being able to have a child, is causing a lot of depression and the patient is like brooding and, going into a depressed state along with this diagnosis. So then we think of remedies like aurum metallicum. Then There are actually many things to consider when we are dealing with a case of infertility, like the menstrual cycle, for example. Now, when we study the menstrual cycle, it can present itself in various ways, like it can be profuse, it can be very scanty flow, it can be painful, it can be too late, it can be too early. So all of this needs to be analyzed, for a remedy indication, along with the other things, of course, along with the overall picture. Even the color of the flow can be important. So, if the flow is dark in color, then there are certain other set of remedies that, come to my mind when I take all of that menstrual history. Then the other thing to consider is the libido. What is the sexual desire like when dealing with such a case? So there are some cases where the libido is very high and there is sterility along with that. Then there are the remedies change. If the libido is very low and there is sterility in the background as well, then the remedies are different. Agnus castus is a remedy that's commonly, known for this kind of condition. And I think all the homeopaths would think about this remedy. But again, the libido factor has to be considered when we are deciding on, so that is again an important state to consider.
You said Agnus castus. Hey, that's the remedy made from wild yam. And just for our listeners, Dr. Varsha said aurum before. That's the remedy that's made from gold.
Yes, that's right. So then there are, some cases where we have to consider the condition of the uterus. In our books, it is mentioned that when the uterine condition is sluggish, then there are certain remedies that are considered. It's called atony, or it's called, laxity of a particular organ. Then we have some organ support remedies. All right. And then there is, if the ovarian condition, like let's say there is PCOS, right? But then there are, again, some other remedies that come to your mind. Folliculinum is one of them. And I could, say this one general thing about, people who are trying to conceive and haven't had success until now. They can use folliculinum as a remedy from the 8th to 15th day of your cycle. And every cycle, they can keep doing that. And that will help them in improving the condition of the quality of the egg, basically. Because a lot of people ask, what about the quality of the egg? That might, the egg quality is not good. So then we think about remedies which have a particular affinity to the ovaries. And, folliculinum, oophorinum, there are a few remedies to consider. Typically, as I said, from 8th to the 15th day, folliculinum 30C can be taken. There is one more tip. I'll probably keep it for the end so that people keep listening. Just giving later. Sure. Okay. So then again, there is a remedy which is commonly known for acidity, but it is also indicated for infertility when there is non-retention of semen after sex. If the semen is not being retained in the vagina and in the tract, then the remedy becomes natrum phos. So, that generally just known for acidity commonly. But, these our remedies they're so deep acting and they have effects in so many spheres of the body that we cannot just, that's why we keep saying that, we have to consider the whole state of the patient and only then prescribe a remedy. So there could be a condition where there are growths in the body. It can be anywhere. It can be vaginal warts. And, we term it as psychotic sterility. When there is psychosis in the background, that is how we go about the miasmatic diagnosis of the case. And typically, again, not to be self-prescribed, I'll mention, but typically Mediterranean is the remedy, that is considered for psychotic sterility, that has been mentioned in relation to psychotic sterility. Then there is a remedy where, there is abortion due to bleeding around the placenta, right? A very small, rare remedy for this particular condition could be cobaltum nitricum.
Oh, so interesting.
Yeah. So there are so many remedies. It's really not a one remedy, one situation kind of a thing in homeopathy. I will talk about a remedy, which is my favorite remedy because it helped me when I had a tendency to, recurrent miscarriage and tendency to abortion. The remedy is Electris farinosa. And the woman basically has a tendency to abort when she gets pregnant the pregnancy is easy, conception is fine, but abortion tendency is there. And then we think of this remedy. There could be a white discharge, so to speak, leukorrhea in the picture. There could be sexual frigidity as well in this remedy. And the person is extremely sensitive. The remedy will not just help in that tendency to abortion, but also improve the general, condition of the patient with an improved digestion, with an improved appetite, and with a general improvement of the overall health of the patient. That's how our remedies work. They work on the entire system and not just on one particular symptom. So should I go on? Keep talking.
Yeah, I was actually going to say it's actually interesting because I haven't used Electris Farinoso, but recently a client of mine got me to order it in for her for anemia. So yeah, it's not a remedy that I really know. So that's the only place I've ever heard about it. But I always try, because most of our listeners, we have lots of homeopaths that listen to the podcast, that email in, but most of our listeners are the general public. So if I think that there's something that's said that they might not understand, I try to clarify just to include them in the conversation. So Dr. Varsha was saying about folliculinum. It's the remedy that's made from estrogen. And there was also ofurinum, which is the remedy made from healthy ovarian tissue. Natphos, you will commonly know as a tissue salt. And like she said, it's really good for acidity, and you can get it in most health shops, even in Australia, as the Schussler tissue salts. And then what she was saying about the psychotic tendency, it wasn't for crazy people. It's just what we as homeopaths call one of our miasms, and that's sort of like an epigenetic blueprint almost that you were handed down from your ancestors. And I think when you use the word abortion, you were meaning miscarriage, because in homeopathic language and also in our textbooks, the words that's used for miscarriage is abortion. So just for those people that are listening, that word might have a bit of a trigger factor in it. So I just thought I would clarify that. And you said cobaltum nitricum you've used for that. I haven't even, I've never used that one. So that's why I love doing these podcasts. I learn so much. So yeah, thank you for that. But please do continue. That was great. I loved learning from you.
Thank you so much for clarifying all of that. I'm sorry I went too technical there.
No, that's what I'm here for. So to clarify it.
Okay, so then I would talk about a very, again, common remedy, which is thought of for very obstinate infertility that has been ongoing for years and years and years. And that remedy is natrum carb. And it's a great remedy, has been used over and over again with success in such cases as well. There is rare remedy, which is typically indicated when there is ovarian atrophy. Ovarian atrophy means that the ovarian tissue is degenerating and it's not developed properly. When such a condition, such a pathological condition, like I said, we have to take into consideration the pathology of the case as well. Whatever we are on, an ultrasound also is extremely important. So Anantheraum mur is a remedy.
Never heard of that.
Again, a rare remedy. It's a small remedy that is indicated there is ovarian atrophy or ovarian tissue degeneration, which is associated with sterility or infertility.
That's very interesting. So do you find that tends to happen later on in life, or is it something that people tend to have, early on in life?
It could be in, over 35, 36 years of age, more common there. But so to speak, it's not really typical that, it can happen age as well due to, so it can happen. So then there are, the big remedies like sepia that is talked about so much for hormonal infertility when there is a complete imbalance of hormones in the body. It could also reflect on the menstrual cycle by, suppression of it, or no menses coming for months and months altogether. So then we have to, think about remedies which are typically focused on hormonal imbalance, like sepia, like all of the polycrest remedies that we hear about. Even phosphorus is a very good remedy for infertility. Again, in a phosphorus patient, we have to determine if it's a phosphorus personality, then phosphorus will, help. There's one more remedy that's coming to my mind, cannabis indica.
Oh.
So the vaginal secretion for this remedy to be indicated is extremely acidic, extremely acidic, excoriating, causing irritation of the genitals. That kind of a vaginal secretion is there. And, again, tendency to very early abortion. Like, again, they conceive easily, but there's a tendency to early abortion, like in the second month itself. And the flow, can be extremely profuse for this remedy to be indicated. And strain, cannabis indica, which is made from, so even
Cannabis.
such indicated in a state like infertility.
That is really cool. The only time I've ever used it was when the husband was a chronic cannabis smoker and he was refusing to give up smoking, and the woman was actually miscarrying, and I had a suspicion that it was due to his sperm. And so we gave him the remedy cannabis. I think I gave cannabis sativa, and that really helped.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. One of the recent cases that has come to my clinic for infertility study that I'm conducting right now. I'm offering an infertility study currently. On that also, I have used that cannabis indica for one of the patients where there was a history of use of this recreational substance and subsequent sterility. So I've used it for a male as well, but the results are awaited. I can't really comment on the result right now.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's another reason why I love speaking with the Indian homeopaths, because you have so many people that are open to homeopathy over there, and there's always studies and things happening. So there's just so much great information coming out of India, which I absolutely, absolutely love hearing about. Are there any others that you wanted to share with us, or was that the end of your list?
I am thinking, have I left out something? Even borax is a remedy that has been used for it. It's such a common remedy. We always think of borax for, the ulcers, the mouth ulcers. But there could be ulcerative condition of the genitals as well, where this remedy is indicated for infertility. I don't think I have too many others to mention right now, just off the top of my head, because as I said, I dive down into the mental aspect of the case and then decide on a remedy mostly. There are people where sometimes they are suffering from a condition and they will blame themselves for it. They will be like, it's my fault that this is happening. So, there are so many different mindsets that develop in a patient when they are suffering from a particular condition, and how they are, experiencing that condition becomes so important for me to prescribe for them. What are they thinking about their condition? How are they coping with this? And how is the condition affecting them on the mental level? I think these are my areas of exploration when a chronic case is in front of me.
That's amazing. And that does happen so often these days, where we see women that are leaving their child rearing until, late 30s, sometimes even early 40s. And then there can be this whole mental, emotional aspect of, I've left it too late, it's all my fault, all that sort of thing. So you probably see, I don't know if this is the same sort of culture in India, but certainly over here, often women will leave it late until their 30s and then really blame themselves and be very hard on themselves for leaving it that late. So that's the beauty with homeopathy. We can get really in there and get into their mental emotionals of, what exactly it is that they're feeling and address at that level.
There is one other common scenario that is, attached to this condition that I have come across personally in many cases. There are some women who are suffering from infertility who will start getting dreams of babies. And there is, there is a very small list of remedies that has been mentioned in relation to that. So it's just about how this particular case is presenting in front of me. What is happening and what is happening at the level of the mind, dreams, the psychology of the case. It's extremely important. So that is why I think homeopathy is such a beautiful option for this condition.
Absolutely. And for anyone considering a consultation with Dr. Varsha, just, really get in tune with your own body. She's going to be asking you questions. All of us homeopaths are, like she said, about your cycle, the color of the blood. Are there any clots? Are there any symptoms before or after? Do you have any ovulation pain? What makes it better? What makes it worse? How long does it last? Is there any smell? Do you have any cravings? All of that. So if you are not currently feel that you're not in touch with your body until the time that you have a consultation, make sure that you have an app on your phone to track your cycle so you can start to answer some of these questions. And, obviously go and see Dr. Varsha anyway, even if you're not in touch with your body, because going through that homeopathic process will definitely get you in touch with your body if you're not already. But there's going to be a lot of questions, so be prepared.
I can be quite irritating during the consult. Some of the patients really, oh my God, the questions are never ending.
Yeah, I think as homeopaths, we have such appreciation for how every person you talk to is so different. And you don't want to miss that tiny little bit of information that's going to, really differentiate and just make the prescription excellent as opposed to just good. So that's why we ask a lot of questions, not because we're nosy.
Not because we are nosy, but we have to take hours to ultimately analyze the case and then come to a prescription. So yes, it's a tedious process and it takes a lot of hard work and time. Perseverance is something that we all need to, have as a quality as homeopaths, as well as our patients as well. They need to have a lot of patience and perseverance with us. I want to talk about something that is in the pipeline as well, Eugenie.
Yes, please.
Talking, and so many people are, listening to us. So why not? US surrogacy head is a friend of mine, and we are in talks of going big with the news of homeopathy and infertility. Something that is big and something that is going to be like cast on a channel like Apple TV or Netflix or, something big is in the pipeline. I'm really excited for it. But it'll take some time because it is only at the planning stages right now. So I'm involved in that project, and I should be coming up, huge on your screens very, very soon.
Oh, that sounds exciting. And I'm actually a big believer on when you're doing something like that, put it out there, because then you start creating momentum. So and also the more people you tell about it, the more accountable you're being held. So I will be touching base with you in a few months' time and make sure that you're delivering.
A part of the project, obviously. So, I really hope it all materializes very, very soon. But it is in the pipeline and they are already working on it. And they have asked me to be part of it. So, yes, I would bring homeopathy to the fore and very, very soon.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Now, you also have 2 children. And can you tell us a little bit before we finish up, just how you use homeopathy with them on a day-to-day basis?
Absolutely. I'm delighted to talk about that because I think I'm so proud of both of my children being exclusively on homeopathy since the time they have been born. Now my son is about 14 years old and my daughter is going to be 6 very soon.
Oh.
And they are not one course of antibiotics until now. So I think I'm extremely proud of that. My son had horrible ear infections, horrible recurrent ear infections as a reaction to one of the vaccines that he had. He's half vaccinated. I went ahead with half vaccination and I realized that he's reacting to it. Mm-hmm. So I stopped it. My daughter is completely unvaccinated. And the ear infections were also treated with homeopathy, and starting from any injury to any cough and even COVID, we have gone through C19 already as a family, and we have addressed it with only homeopathy. And I'm extremely proud of that fact.
That's amazing. And it is so empowering. I think the one thing that I certainly get out of homeopathy is it makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel I have something that I can help my family and myself with. I don't have to stand there helplessly and wait for somebody to fix me. I can do it myself. That's what I love about homeopathy.
Exactly. And to be honest, I was their homeopath for the first few years of their life, but I then hired somebody else for them because it's very difficult for me as a mother when they are sick and just to be objective about the entire situation. So I have a homeopath who treats me if I am ill, and as well as my children have their own homeopath. So I can just ring their bell as soon as we are coming down with something, because it's something that becomes extremely overwhelming, for me as a mother to handle both the sides of the situation. So I would suggest that to all the mothers there that don't try to do everything by yourself. You do have help, so get the right kind of help for your family.
Absolutely. And it's wonderful building that relationship up with your homeopath, because they will really get to know your child. And sometimes, they'll have the notes over the years. So something might happen, your child's 12 and they might have the notes and go, would you remember your child had this when they were 8? And you might be like, oh, I forgot they had that. But your homeopath has got all that notes there that they can actually help you. And you learn from them as well. It's, like us homeopaths learn from our own homeopaths. So yeah, and any homeopath you ever go to, you're going to be learning from them. So it's a beautiful experience. Mhm.
I think they are a blessing to my family. So yes, I really value their services.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Varsha, how can people get hold of you? And you also have some courses for homeopaths, right?
Yes, I do. I have online courses, completely online courses for mind rubrics of the repertory. If somebody is just looking to explore that area, then yes, I do offer a course, I offer two courses actually currently. One is a 20 remedy course. 20 remedies are the most commonly used polycrest remedies of our materia medica and how they are expressed in the mind section of the repertory. So I deal with all of that in that course.
Mhm.
And then there's another course, which is a shorter course, and that is about the rubrics that I have used most commonly in my practice from the mind section of the repertory, explained in videos and a presentation. So that is how that course works. That's a shorter one, and there's a longer one. It is all there on my website if anybody wants to check it out.
That sounds amazing. And you've got your main website, which is homeopathynet.com. And then you've got lots of other links for other places where people can find you, which I will put in the show notes. So for anyone that is interested. And you're also involved with Homeopathy 24/7, right?
Absolutely. How are we not talking about it until now?
Oh.
So Homeopathy 7 is my and I have been with Mary Greensmith, who's our founder, from the beginning of this platform. We are a 24/7 website. I'm sure everybody already knows about it. I'll still mention it.
Yes.
That we are a 24/7 service, and we are a team of homeopaths from all over the world. And we are available for consultations, as we say, 24/7. So you can just knock on our door and somebody from my team will always be there for a professional consultation with you.
Oh, that's so amazing. I often send my clients, if I am busy and I'm not able to treat them acutely, I'll say, call the ladies and men, call the team at Homeopathy 24/7 and get an acute consult with them because I'm not able to help at the moment. So, and we've had Mary Greensmith on the podcast and it's amazing what she's doing. It's very much needed.
And she's so inspirational. I think she has inspired me singularly to really work at that level where I'm now treating people from all over the world. So I'm really thankful to her for that.
That's amazing. Well, I am very thankful to you for your time. It was so lovely to connect and thank you so much for sharing this information. And please, listeners, check out the show notes and get in touch with Dr. Varsha if infertility is something that you feel maybe a little bit hopeless about at the moment, and she can see you no matter where you are in the world.
Thank you so much for having me again. I'm truly obliged.
It's such a pleasure. Have a great day.